right, all right. Hopefully you can hear me and my mic kicked in. Welcome to anyone watching it live and anyone watching it later. Tonight, we are going to be stepping into something that is a bit different because I normally don't do MOCs live, and I'm hoping it works. Before I start, let's have a look. Is my audio good? Audio is good. Hopefully not too loud. And we have Madlib Martin and Nicole in the room. Wonderful to see you all here. Love the support. Thank you for coming. I hope you're having a good Thursday. Thursday it is now. So obviously from watching that and watching all the things that I was pushing over on Instagram, this is a bit different for me because I'm going to be, so far the two builds that I've done online have both been sets. This is a MOC, so I will just briefly talk to you a bit about the MOC. So if you want to access the MOC, you can go on Rebrickable.com, and it's the MOC number is 151980, and it's called The Farm, and it's a wonderful barn, and you'll see it as we progress through the build, hopefully. It's by a creator, a designer, a builder called Ploopis. I think the link's in the description. If it's not, I'll put it in the chat, and I'll add it to the description later. But it looks like a lovely barn. Generally, what I will do for builds like this is when I design a MOC, I'll look around to see if anything's previously been done that would be useful for the theme or for the scene that I'm trying to produce from a movie. I haven't done many horror, so this is probably maybe the second. It depends if you count Final Destination and the track accident, but this is maybe the second horror area, and it will be Children of the Corn. So this model is a barn. I'll go through my normal process, which is to build the barn, to build the model, and then I will probably not tonight, but later on, I will break the model down and adapt it for what I need it for. So this is a beautiful deep red barn in a grass area. Looks really pretty, like a farm piece, a farm diorama. We obviously don't want that for Children of the Corn, so I'm going to have to break that down and change the colors. But the actual build is a really nice build, and it will form the primary area of the model. So I'll go through that, and I'll just build as we go. So obviously, being the first time I've done a MOC, normally when I'm building, let's put this on screen. Normally, when I'm putting these together, I will have my bricklink order will come usually over 8 or 7 deliveries, and it will just be one large bag full of pieces. And inevitably, what happens is pieces will go missing. So I will end up needing a crucial piece in the build, and I'll have to go to my collection and source it from there, which isn't a problem, but I don't really want to be doing that on live stream. So I've gone with a kind of just a traditional Lego bagging situation where I've been through the instructions prior and just made sure I've got all the pieces I need. So hopefully it's not difficult to watch, and I won't have to get up and go over and over again. So yeah, we will, let me just, because I'm ashamed to say this, but couldn't really, well, it's age, but I couldn't really remember Children of the Corn in enough detail to really talk about it during the feed. So I watched it twice, last night and today, and it's a great movie. I think the idea of kids being evil and kids that are so young as the main characters in that story is really effective in creating fear during the story. So one of the areas that I'll lean on for the MOC is to focus on the children predominantly, but one of the other areas of the film that is really challenging, really scary, I think, or ominous, is the entity that lives sort of beyond the row, beyond the corn, and is sort of omnipresent throughout the whole film. So I don't quite know how I'll replicate that in the MOC, but we'll have to think about that. And obviously, the majority of my MOCs, although I do display them, they're primarily for Instagram. And the main reason for that is on Instagram, I can add the music, so I can really create the right feel and try and provoke nostalgia for the film, or fear in this case. So in terms of the model itself, we have 1,727 parts. It is for purchase model, so you have to pay for the instructions to a designer for all their hard work, which is more than reasonable. And they are excellent instructions, as you would imagine. And I think the description is very brief on this, but he or she just describes it as a display piece of a rustic, worn farm with an apple tree, wheat field, pumpkin and squash patch, a scarecrow and a chicken coop. The open-backed barn interior includes a cow, 2 pigs with a hayloft. So one thing, again, that I'll generally do with MOCs is if there are elements of the MOC that are quite costly, in this case, the cows and the pigs, I'll strip them out of the bricklink order, because I'm not actually trying to create the exact thing that the designer intended. I don't need a cow and a pig in a barn. So in order to really just save money, I'll strip those parts out. So they're stripped out of this so that they won't be visible. But there's also lots of additions. So I have to buy the minifigs. Some of them have to be customized. And that can be tricky, depending on where you go in terms of quality and stuff like that. So yeah, the film is one of those films where I think everyone knows about it, but it seems very few people, including me, really remember having seen it, or have only seen it once or never. So it's an interesting one. But one thing I will say is that if you do watch it, one of the things that is very visible and very scary in the film is this idea of the children, essentially. And I won't ruin it. I mean, it's probably tricky to ruin at this point with a spoiler, but most of my MOCs are spoilers in the end. But it's a very atmospheric film, and it's worth watching again because it ages well in terms of a horror film anyway. So I've labeled all the bags. I've got the first 5 here, which mean I should be able to get the barn built and assembled. So this is where I need a tray. Ooh. Stop all these pieces disappearing. So obviously with the bricklink instructions, they're all digital, so you can work through. I mean, the Rebrickable instructions, they're very much like when you buy the bricklink sets, and you just work through the instructions in exactly the same way. There is a sort of visual of the finished piece, and I guess it's because most people that are designing models for Rebrickable are designing them within the right apps to be able to export the instructions, which I forget the name of. So how is everyone? I say everyone. How are you, Martin? How are you, Nicole? Studio, that's it. Perfect. Thank you. And one of the things that always shocks me with these builds is when I look at them online and make the choice to go ahead with one of them to build them, it always either it turns out bigger than I expected or smaller. And I think this one probably turned out smaller, but just right. So again, like the Bricklink instructions, and unlike the manuals that we get printed by Lego, discerning color on these can be not necessarily color, but where bricks that are the same color meet can be a bit tricky sometimes. So it takes a bit longer. Like for example, to sort of the brown element in the instructions there, it wasn't clear whether it was just like one giant long piece. And normally with these MOCs, I try to get one out once a week. But my experience of that, sort of a MOC a week, has been the quality, like I get lucky, I think, sometimes. The Labyrinth one did quite well recently, but generally the quicker I turn them over, the less sort of interaction they get online. And it has been a long day, so I'm glad to be doing some building. Although I do probably have to work when this is done, which is annoying. One of the things that I do feel a bit better about having having sort of been through the instructions and sort of bagged them separately for the purposes of the stream is that I know everything's here. Because had I not done that, I'd be sitting with a pile of bricks and the majority of the stream would be me looking for the pieces. Whereas I'm hoping that with this today, I can provide a finished product at the end. One of the things that's also interesting with Rebrickable builds is that the stability of some of the models can be questionable. I don't know how to use Studio. I really want to, because I think I could save a lot of money. I spend a lot of money on bricks based off a mental concept that I never end up using. I mean, it doesn't harm always to have spare bricks, but it can be very expensive to work like that. Whereas if you're working in Studio, you can design exactly what you want and export the list and then look for the bargains on Rebrickable. Bricklink, sorry. Going to draw on Lego, but this is the only tool I have to hand. I think probably one of the worst things that happens with Lego is bricks, tiles getting stuck like that. One of the things I'll be definitely looking to do with this model is really break it down after it's built. In terms of color, aging, make it more. It's described as a rustic model. It does look rustic, but I want to break it down even further. Really, I don't have my normal tools with me, which is problematic. Anyone know any tricks for getting tiles out without breaking them? Drop them. And this is what I mean by this point in a normal build where I'm sort of sitting downstairs doing things at my own pace. I would have abandoned this brick to the large pile of bricks that I have in my living room. Hi, KO. Oh, there we go. Nearly. Got to be gentle, I guess, when you're trying to tease these things out of holes. Right, there you go. Perfect. So, the base is coming on. It's always sort of challenging as well, working out what you notice when you do the Rebrickable models. I find a lot of the time is there's a lot of wasted bricks. Like the designers have built it the way they want to build it, but for me, I'm going to want to adapt it. So a lot of the time, these models end up being broken down quite considerably and repurposed. But I'll be doing one on the stream with. I'll be doing one on the stream with you guys on the 16th, 17th of May. And I think I've been looking for some Rebrickable MOCs just because I've bought far too many sets influenced by Martin over the last week or so. So I am definitely looking more to Rebrickable to source me something to build on that stream. And I think it will probably be, I was looking at some of the Brick Festival events. I've seen like a Joker bust holding a Joker playing card. And I saw that was on Rebrickable, and I was considering maybe doing that one. I love a bit of snot. Martin is a bad influence. He is. I've bought things that well, I've got Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but it doesn't really fit my is it USB, they say? But I've got it now. So I can catch up and build with you on your next. I guess it'll be on Monday when you finish off the Snow White build. And I've immediately done the thing that I often joke at Martin about doing, which is putting things in exactly the right place where you're told to. And I have just fallen foul of that because I can't track what I'm being told to do because I've not stuck them in the right places. You can remind me of that later. Hey, snot. Next time I'll remember to bring my tools. Right, here we go. Let's pick up the pace. So I've got a few builds for that stream, Nicole, that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of that bust, the Joker bust. If I do that, I'll probably just do that. The other ones that I've seen there are a couple of MOCs for the Joker, the Heath Ledger Batman Joker interrogation scene, and I think that would be a nice piece to do. And I think this probably is a bit lazy, but the traditional the Joaquin Phoenix coming down the stairs Joker movement. So it'll be something like that. If I do the bust, I'm probably going to keep it. But if I do the other two, I think I'll give them away at the end of it. We'll find some way of picking someone who can inherit them at the end of the stream. something tells me that it is his fault. I was also encouraged to buy not only the Snow White, but then I ended up buying the Viking. The same seller had the Viking town build, so I got that as well. But they were both quite cheap for sealed sets. I haven't opened them. It could be like those pasta bag things in there, but we'll see. Yeah, it looks really nice. It's big. I was surprised how big it was. It was a delayed shipping because I get it to one of those in-post boxes, and they refused to. They said it was too big to go in the box, so we ended up with it. I don't quite know how. This is a thing that always interests me with the Rebrickables. So I think this is just a visual thing rather than something that will be sticking to the model. But obviously, like I said, there would be a cow here because that was part of the design for this this farm. But there's also I don't know, would you call it a milk pail that kind of sits there with the milk coming out? I don't think that's the right word, but sometimes I think those things look nice, probably in a in the render. When you're working in studio. I think I was seeing, was I watching a stream the other day with, I'm not sure if it was you, Steph, or Phil, working in studio. I really wish I knew how to use it, because I'm pretty sure it would save me a ton of money in sort of building MOCs from scratch. We have a little gate here as well. Again, this is one of those things where you wonder if it worked in kind of worked in Rebrickable in studio, but probably doesn't work in real life because it kind of feels a bit illegal in what's happening with this gate separating the cow paddock. I'm definitely going to work hard on the minifigs for this. If you do get a chance, if you like scary films and you get a chance to look at Children of the Corn again, there's a lot of graphic scenes with the kids and weapons. Again, I think the main thing is because they're kids, it's just it's petrifying. Looking for that. But watching a kid running around a calf with a machete is doesn't sort of put you at ease. So don't watch it as a relaxing program. Children are. These children in particular are. I wanted to put the trailer on here, but I didn't know whether they would, some sort of part of the algorithm would detect it and then hoof me out, and I would be locked out and in trouble. I also don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that would go down. I'm sure I probably could just put a trailer on. But... So again, like I said at the beginning, what we'd be looking at now is, you can see this being the front of the barn, and you'll see as it comes up, but we'd have a cow here, and we'd have 2 pigs here. I think the cow that I was looking at Bricklink was like £10 maybe. The pigs were cheaper and more reasonable, but again, I don't need them for this, for what I'm ultimately going to be doing with it. But hopefully this comes together well and doesn't give me any problems. When I looked through the instructions, they appeared pretty good, although that that fence there has given me some concern because it's supposed to be at an angle as well. I don't quite think it's sitting in there as legally as it should. So, but it won't be a problem because I only really want the outside of this barn. Building it like this is just really to showcase the design of the designer rather than butchering it before I have a chance to do that. And the whole film is set in Gatlin, I think the place is called, in I want to say Nebraska. Maybe I've got that wrong. But the actual location itself is almost a character in the film. You spend a lot of time seeing them driving around at the beginning, because another thing that shocked me and I totally forgot is that Linda Hamilton's in it. She plays the sort of main victim. The people are the main victim, the people are the town, but she plays one of the victims, or the potential to be one. There's a lot of screaming. Yeah, it was the cow that I was looking at was it was pricey. It was the orange kind of, I'll show it here, but that, there's the top of it peering over, but that cow. But yeah, it was like, I want to say, I'm sure it was up to a tenner, but I think that the issue that I have when I'm buying them on there is I'm generally not looking to replicate their models. If there was something on there like a guy, I am building their models, but if I'm building it for a purpose like this, I could have scrapped out all of the interior really, because I only need the exterior pieces. But for the purpose of the stream, or for the purpose of looking at this later, I think it's and to credit the builder, show you stuff, which I always try to do in my posts, but when I've adapted a model, but I always feel there's something about it that and I know that Lego is supposed to be sort of torn down, rebuilt and changed and adapted and stuff, but something always feels a little bit, I always feel a bit uneasy about it. But sometimes you can't beat the stuff that's already out there, and the original designer may not have intended it for the purpose that I want it for. So sometimes I just think, well, that model just nails it, like this barn. This barn, just looking at it will just involve color changes, right? So this red is nice. I love the deep red, especially on the masonry bricks. But I think what I'll do is look to add a lot more brown. This will tear it down a bit. And obviously, the bit that I'm most excited about is doing the cornfield outside, because I've seen cornfields in various MOCs over the time, and I've always been really keen on experiencing that. It's a pretty simple technique, but it's really effective. that. And then that. Yeah, so I think I'm actually displaying. I confirmed today. I was really late with the confirmation, and thankfully they approved it. But I'll be displaying at, I don't know if any of you guys are going, but I'll be at Reading. But I'll be displaying my Western town there. If anyone's about, it'd be good to see you. I think that's in a couple of weeks' time. The cow is only in 2, yeah, which is probably, which I imagine is why it's expensive. A lot of the time is that people, when they're using when they're using the software, they're designing it to be with their vision in mind, I guess. And a lot of the time, what will happen to me is I go on, I'll see a Rebrickable that I want to build. And they at that point, they're now using retired bits. So the price just goes through the roof. Yeah, I have got a few. Because one of the other MOCs that I'm doing at the moment is Field of Dreams. And that requires a cornfield as well. So I've had to spend a lot of money on developing cornfield. Yeah, I think it was, Steph, but I think I'd initially applied, but then hadn't followed up. And I think that was I'd put the application in, but I hadn't added something about tables. And then I just totally forgot. I apologized quickly and threw myself on their mercy. But I had applied, it just hadn't, I hadn't updated the table specs or something. But that's done now. How many corn pieces? That's where I've drawn. How many corn pieces were in those sets? Do you know, Steph? Because it was very expensive. As you know, if you've looked on the Instagram, I'm more than happy to build with third-party stuff. Sometimes in terms of cost, it's the only way I can try and represent what I want to build. But that normally is limited just to accessories. But with the cornfield, I was very, very close to just committing to Temu or AliExpress and just trying to get stuff there. But in the end, it ended up just being very expensive. But it'll be worth it. It'll look good. I love Field of Dreams. It's a great movie. And I'm getting some of there's not many baseball players in Lego. So I ended up having to get the baseball players custom made or custom printed, which is not cheap, but they are the primary sort of standout part of that build. So it's kind of necessary. So we're building up the exterior here. The thing that I loved about this model, and the thing that I love about it for the MOC, is this white framing. So when I break this down, when we're moving into the MOC stages, I'll probably use tan on a lot of these, just swap out with some tan to give it more of an aged look. 3 in the van, 2 in the supermarket. So I guess I own 10 more. Yeah, they are expensive. Just buying on bulk, some of that stuff can be problematic. I like the way this frames this window. Some of the time as well, when I'm building these, you'll notice slight issues for structure and things like that I don't like the look of. So I'll try and find a way that I can potentially change the looseness of that, although it might come together as the model moves forward, but maybe something to look at. Yeah. I didn't buy it. I loved Bricktastic and it was great and I got to meet a lot of people, but I didn't get to move away from my table. So I didn't actually do any shopping really. I got to the minifigs, minifigs.me place, but that was only because I needed to, because they sponsor some of the builds and I need to speak to them. But outside of that, I didn't really get anything. I don't know if there were many great deals there though. You see all this hype on sort of Instagram and YouTube, but I don't know that there were many great sort of deals to be had, unless you tell me otherwise. And I'm always looking for deals. Can be quite one of the things I do like about MOCs is a lot of the time you're so overexposed, other people's MOCs I should say, when I'm building them, is a lot of the time you're so overexposed with the other content and the other models, the sort of official sets from Lego, that it kind of takes a bit of the excitement out of seeing things coming together, you know. I quite like that about these kind of these types of model. Oh yeah, yeah. I can't remember where. I think I was in Leicester Square recently, and I was on the wall there, and they had quite a lot of good stuff. A lot of masonry at the moment. I was saying the other day, as soon as I start seeing masonry on the wall, there is no way I'm not buying a box. Interesting. What is that? Yeah, blind. The color issues with these these things are continuing. I need to work out how to use Twitch. Just for the simple fact that when I'm viewing people and stuff's happening, I kind of need to work out what I'm supposed to do. I feel like an old man on Twitch. Well, I am an old man, but I feel even older on Twitch, because there's things flying around the screen. There's all kinds of bells and whistles going off. I think someone gave me something in Nicole's stream the other day, but I didn't know that whether they had. It looked like, I think it said a sub or something, but I didn't quite know what they were. I didn't know what that meant. But I need to work it out. And we need to dip into one of these bags because I'm missing a piece. So my organization skills of these bags ahead of time has met its first challenge. But hopefully easily resolved. Yeah. I didn't, honestly, Nicole, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know whether to say thank you or what I was supposed to do. I mean, I would normally just say thank you, sorry. But honestly, I didn't really know what was going on. I think someone was doing something nice, and I dropped the ball. That doesn't fill me with confidence. I've missed 2 things that I should have had in that first bag. Ah, okay. Okay. That makes sense. So I should have said thank you is what you're saying. And I didn't, which makes me the worst. Oh, I can have access to emotes. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'll use them when I work out how to. Just about to try and explain this, but we might be on steadily to bag 2 at this point. Although you think I've finished bag that I'm on. So this is, until I had done what I said, which was organize all the bags, this is generally what I have for these, just all the Bricklink orders coming in. Sometimes it's quite relaxing looking through the Rebrickable part list for a model and just digging it out and sorting from your own set and seeing the price go down as you remove things from the list. But I didn't do that. I've ended up with a ton of extra Lego, which I'm not really going to complain about. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll use them then next time I'm on. When's your next stream, Nicole? Start building this up. Pretty basic build at the moment. Okay, 2 flat red. There we go. Wednesday. Okay. Are you always, is Wednesday your day? Oh, okay. Wow. I definitely didn't. I feel bad. I can't remember who gave it because I'd messaged him. But I guess, yeah, you're right. It's like giving to the person that's doing the stream. Nicole asked me, Martin, if I am going to be cross-stream, like doing both at the same time like you do. The idea of that nearly exploded my head. This is about as good as it's going to get. I think the instructions were for this were reasonable, but they were a bit more expensive than some of the others. I feel like it was about £11, something like that. It can be anything from sort of £3 to £20. You have to be really careful though, because you normally have to cost it first, because I don't like to sort of spend £20 on instructions and then find out the bill's going to be about 400, which happened recently with the Sinners build that I did which was the juke joint. I got the instructions for that, and then I looked at the price, and to build it from Rebrickable used parts with all the postage and packaging involved, it was like £450. And for something that I was going to adapt anyway, it was slightly frustrating. So I spoke to the creator, and they customized the instructions for me, removed the top layer of the barn, the roof, and made other changes that I'd asked for, and sent me the new instructions and the parts list. So that was great. This community is amazing for people just wanting to be nice and help people, which I love. So that's where we're done bag one, or my bag one. Yeah, that was, I was really impressed, really happy. She was, I think she was happy because she hadn't necessarily seen it built. So one of the things the Rebrickable designers like is if you can take pictures and then post pictures, because it supports other people seeing what it actually looks like rather than a render, and encourages buy-in. So I think she was really excited for the fact that I was not only going to get it, I was going to build it. And she loved the build when it came together. And I think that's the first time she'd ever seen it in real life. One of the other things that was really interesting, again, an amazing community, is the figures for that. I wanted black singers, and Lego, the production of Lego for me to create something like that is not great. So I contacted a guy in Switzerland who makes iconic black singer minifigs. And he said he'd not had any, hadn't built any, didn't have any stock except for his prototypes. So he sent me all these prototypes for free. I mean, I have to send them back, but he sent them in time for me to display it at Bricktastic. Again, really nice. Just people being really nice. This is bag 2. My bag 2, not the designer's bag 2. I think that's a 2. It's really hard to make out my handwriting sometimes, but that looks like that says 2 doors. So hopefully this is 2 doors. So yeah, the support of people has been really good in the community. And I don't know why it comes as a surprise to me, but it probably shouldn't. But these things do, you know. It's easy just to sort of say you're going to do something or help someone, and actually not. It's a lot of hard work doing stuff like that. So I was really grateful for both of those people for doing that. Right, we're building. Framing these windows, and I'm hoping that it will come together as we go up, because I don't like this. Yeah, if you had issues with color, you don't want to be trying to interpret these instructions, because it is challenging. Yeah, I have always been surprised by that as well, because you look at some of them, I've looked at the models, and then I'll go to the sort of, I'm trying to think of the pictures part, where you can, as a builder and a purchaser, you can post a picture of their build once you've built it, and sometimes it just doesn't even resemble those renders. And I do have a lot of problem not with anyone that I've spoken about, but I do have a lot of problems with stability in models sometimes. It's almost like the online development allows for things to happen that I don't know if there's a way in that software where you can sort of test structure and things like that, but sometimes I'm a bit taken back by how vulnerable they feel. You know, if you look at them too hard, they'll crash. But it is surprising. I've messaged a lot of people over the time about their designs just to find out things about them and stuff like that. And they only do digital, so. I can never pronounce this word, greebling. Is that the right word? I love that kind of detail on models. Some things fall out of sync here, but just like adding tiles, and again, these points, these stubs here will be really good to add in a lot of the broken down detail and corrupted sort of edges. Hi guys. God, look, realizing like the whole I can't click this machine tonight. All the best people are here. Yeah, so we flip round to this side now. Gaz has probably seen Children of the Corn. I feel like you have a vast knowledge across pop culture. Maybe not. I'm going to be wrong. He's going to say, no, I've never seen it. Oh, I missed. You can test. Yeah, okay. Sure. I guess that makes sense. Maybe that's something that will come with time. I was going to say with AI, but I feel like everyone just thinks that's just going to solve every single problem at this point. Yeah, I guess connections, it makes sense you would be able to test them. And a lot of it, I don't think I've ever had an issue necessarily with a connection, but stability can be a problem. I'm giving you silence. What's the rules around like music on here? I'm guessing from the fact that I've never seen. I think I saw something that said you can play your own music, but unfortunately, I'm not that talented. Yeah. Yep. Oh, I can't remember Children of the Corn. Jesus. I was hoping he was going to say, yes, I remember. Well, hopefully, at least. I've been trying to do more obscure ones because they tend to get a better response. Like Taxi Driver did really well, and I didn't think that would do well, but well in terms of engagement on social media. But I mean, that is a great film, but I was surprised it got as much engagement as it did. slightly concerned that I wrote on that bag doors, and I seem to be just building walls. That's probably the best way to describe it. Linda Hamilton and loads of kids running around killing the town is the short version of it. But it is a very it's a very atmosphere. I like the atmosphere. I always look for that when I'm watching films, just the way the film can make you feel, and that's one of those that has an atmosphere to it. Like a lot of the ones that I try to build, like Taxi Driver definitely does. There was one that I did, Road to Perdition, which was the final scene where I don't want to ruin it, not the final scene, but one of the final scenes. And the atmosphere, the music, the score is just amazing. Missing pieces, which is never good. No, I'm not. Village of the Damned. What is... reminds me of what that one was. I'm guessing very similar, or another movie I watched last night. Oh, not last night, a couple of nights back, was the second one to 28 Years Later, which was great. I really, really, really want to do one for that. It'll probably be better to do it for the first film, 28 Days Later. But that would be I think that would be a really nice MOC. Some of the other things that happen a lot of the time with these, but I keep forgetting I need to talk. Some of the time, a lot of the things that will happen with these builds is that as you're going along, I start to think about changes I want to make, and it distracts me from what I'm supposed to be doing, which is actually building it. So I need to get on with it. Sleepy Town. Everyone went to sleep at the same time for 24 hours. When they wake up, 12 women are all pregnant, and the kids, they have a weird... That sounds great. You are now influencing my film choices. I've got Snow White. I am now going to watch Village of the Damned. I'll watch it and I'll adapt this MOC. What I do love from looking at the instructions on this one is the ones that are kind of a bit of a slow build, but then as you get towards the end, they start popping and all come together. This one so far isn't giving many delights. I feel like that Snow White model that you were building the other day, or on Monday, Martin, had a lot of those like delight moments where you're building and you're just like, oh yeah, that's super satisfying. Okay. And the village looks like that as well. I'm definitely keen to build that Viking village. But I think at this point, I need to get my stuff together for Reading. Because I haven't seen my Western town in a year, and I need to dig it out from storage. Yeah. So is the start, will you be starting bag 5 then when we're on Monday? So that I can keep up. So again, here's another bit. I don't know how much this was, but I just cut it out. So you can see here, part of this will involve a ladybird. Obviously, I deleted that from the order because I don't really need it for the Children of the Corn. Yes, I am. Are you going? Is someone I know going? I feel like nobody. I sort of put myself in for that this year, but I'd also put in for it last year, and I ended up having to cancel last year. But I always feel like nobody ends up going, or no one will be there that I knew. But it's good to meet nice people, new nice people. All right. So I'm guessing this is the front, and this is where we're going to be fitting these doors. These doors are quite bulky. They're very much I want to say concerning, but when I was looking at them as I was making sure I had all the parts, I did have a few concerns about these doors. So you can, I'm guessing that these elements here, oh, lost that bucket. These elements will end up being potentially the hinge for them. Don't know. We'll see as we go. But again, it's open back. That's not necessarily going to be an issue for me, but so it's starting to come along, and they're framing those windows on the side. It gives you an idea of the height. Yay! Oh, that's good. Great. Well, I get to meet you in person finally. You'll be excited for that. Now, I've also got to get that town out and work out whether I want to bring it with a train. Again, I keep talking about it, but when I was standing there watching Jules at Bricktastic fighting that train, it made me very hesitant to display the Western train because it has been very problematic in its stability. But yeah, you'll get to see the Western town. It will be good to get it out because it also, again, that's another thing. I registered for Bricktastic today because I think that just came out today, or I just realized it came out today. But I'll be doing the model. I don't know if you've seen the film, potentially not, but I'll be doing one model rather than all the movie mocks this year, probably. And it will be based on Cowboys vs. Aliens. I don't know if you ever saw that film with Harrison Ford and Daniel Craig. It's very, very niche, but my plan for Bricktastic will be to probably double the size of the town that I currently have, and then do a alien type attack on the town. But we'll see how we go. Yeah, I'm not surprised that they would do a spoof. There's a lot of opportunity with films like that. It's not the best film. I can't even find it on streaming, so I'm gonna have to buy it to try and get my references for it, because I can't just build it from memory. Who knows what we'll end up with, but So we're actually now working on the door, and I was really, really, really excited to build this door. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, they were the table. I couldn't even get away from there. Mainly because I was worried about the models as well. Because the problem I had, the first display I ever did was one of these commercial events, and someone said to me, "Just don't use minifigs because they'll get snatched up." So I've kind of ignored that because minifigs are so critical to the display, all the individual MOCs. But that day, I was very aware that there were some Citizen Brick ones on there that had cost me quite a bit of money, and I was really paranoid about them. So I just stayed there all day. But it was good. It was great. I love talking to people about the models. People love the films. You know, that's a good thing with doing such a big variety as well. They can be, everyone will like one of those films at least. And generally people have the same experiences. So this is how we're building a door. I'm really excited for this to come together and be a good door. Let's hope it don't let me down. Are you displaying at Reading, Gaz? Or just visiting? Let's build 4 of these. Yeah, it was busy there. I think I would love to sit back and say, yeah, the table was so busy, I did such a good job. But the reality of it is, and I think speaking with Kev about this, people didn't realize, I don't think, that they could just walk past the table. So I had a massive queue of people, and I think they thought they had to queue. So at the end, or on the second day, I had to walk up and down that queue telling people they didn't have to queue and they could come back on the way out. But I think being British, people were just refused to leave the queue. They wanted to stay in it. But yeah, I think the queue was just based on where I was. Oh, I didn't know you were, yeah, I said no to the meal, but that's because I didn't think I was going to know anyone there because I'm antisocial. I'm not antisocial, I'm just shy. I'll have to try and change that to a yes. I think the email goes out on the table positioning at some point tonight. Mike was saying, oh yeah, I'm going to love these doors. So the thing I love about these doors, I love built doors. I just love the effort that goes into them. And like, this is just so intricate. I don't know how it's going to withstand being on the model, but just the idea of building in these elements, you know, for the crosses on the door, it's a really nice technique that he or she has done here. And you can see how it starts to take shape. I love, 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 love bits like this. And I can see immediately that it's going to be a really easy thing for me to age as well for the MOC, because I can just swap these out for tan pieces. So they just come together really nicely. It's not feeling too vulnerable. I'm saying that very carefully because I know that this is going to like explode on me in a second. Okay, not so far. And actually, I should probably check the instructions to make sure I've done them in the right place. Okay, I have. So they actually use the aging. So to see how the doors start to come together. They've used a bit of the aging technique by adding a small part of tan in here. To show my fingers, I need to wear gloves or something. To try and give a bit of aging maybe, or is that a handle they're looking at? I don't know. But yeah, it just starts to come together really nice. I love the red. And then hopefully, ping, that is going to go right in the middle. And then that is going to go across there. And we need some stability on the back, which would be that. Then we need hinges. So there's your door, which actually I really like. See if we can get it on without breaking the model. We can just take it out and put it on. So beer. It's bulky, but remembering that this isn't for, obviously, for play for me. I mean, I might play with it, but this is where it's going to just explode and smash all over the floor. One of the things with the actual board sets rather than MOCs and Rebrickable is you're always confident that things are the way they're supposed to be. Everything will be okay. This will come together. With the MOCs, I'm always just extremely nervous because I'm not, is this going to come together? Or is this something that looked good on a render that isn't going to look good when I start trying to build it and squeeze it all together? As it goes, it starts to come together. See, so that's one door. But I can move a bit faster on these because he says, as he realizes that that is the wrong color. I always find that one of the problems with the display events, not necessarily the commercial ones, because I can normally go direct to the people there, but one of the problems I find with the actual proper events is they require such a significant registration lead-in period, or they feel like they do to me, because I never know, you know, what my mood's going to be one day to the next. But you have to sort of early commit to these things. So I always end up sort of either not doing enough and then regretting it when everyone's going to the events. Like there's an event this weekend, isn't there? I would have loved to have been going to that because I know a lot of you guys are going. But I guess I could buy a ticket if they're still available. I don't know if it's sold out. I really like this door. I'm obsessed with the door. It's a really nice door. Everything else is the Black Country Brick Show. That's the one. Everything else is grey, but the door. And I have always got because a lot of the designs that I'll do have some inspiration at some point from another. What am I doing here? Build it exactly as it is. A lot of the builds that I do, I'll go out and I'll look for inspiration from other designers. And some of the stuff people do, I'm always amazed by, you know. And I think I enjoy detail of models. So a lot of the time, if someone can get the base right, the foundations right, I can just have a lot of fun with detail. So yeah, it reminds me of the Resident Evil Umbrella Corp kind of sign. All right, so after we've done this, we've got like 3 bags, which will start to bring this together a lot because it's a lot about the roof and the roof sections. Are you going up on Friday to Reading, Gaz? I've never been there, so I'm hoping it's I did that wrong. I'm hoping it's more, I'm not going to be out in the lobby area again, if there is one, so I can actually try and see people and see things. I feel like I got to most of your guys' displays and efforts, but yeah, cool. Just one hall. Okay. Well, I won't be out in the hallway then. I feel like after experiencing Bricktastic, I'm spoiled now. I feel there's not going to be much that meets that. I'm thinking about doing Chicago next year. I'm excited about the idea of doing that. I hear there's a lot of drama there, but you don't have to be part of it. Right, so that's that last door. Got another door. Oh, stream's frozen. Is that going to work? Yeah, there you go. Door. All right, here we go. This is where it's I'm gonna cheat. Okay. I feel like I've been looking at the front door of this barn for months, wanting to enjoy it in the build. I don't think it's really disappointed. I like that. It's nice. Again, I'm looking, I can see where I'm going to make those changes, but it's a really nice design. I like it. Okay. So we've got them on. Now we want to move to bag 3. Oh, brilliant. Did you, are you going this year, Nicole? Probably drama's probably the wrong word, or something else. But, yeah. Well, so what happened, Steph, it's funny you say that, because people at Bricktastic, people asked me what lug it was that I was with. And I was kind of thinking, well, I'm just with normal brickish stuff. Like I'm not, but I think what happened was people felt that because there were so many models there, that it wasn't all by me. But those, I think there were 45, maybe 50 models. Those 50 models were all mine, and were all built over the course of about a year and a half. Because I feel like I'm up late, which is a bad thing. I need to get better at sleeping. But I decided, don't ask me why, but I just decided that I was going to do one mock every week for a movie, because some of them don't really require much. Some of them are quite straightforward, and that decision has involved me having to, I feel like now I'm sort of committed to it, and I just stick to it so I can sort of maintain content on there. But you'll notice, like, there are some that I spend a lot of time on, like Hot Fuzz. I've got all the pieces for that. Really want to build the Hot Fuzz mock, but I also want to do it justice. I've had that for about 5 months, the build for that and the concept, but I just haven't got around. I keep second guessing what I'm trying to do, and breaking it up and then redoing it and breaking it up again. But yeah, I try to do one a week, one sort of MOC a week. Normally I've got sort of 4 on the go at a time. I don't actually know what this week's MOC will be. There is I don't know if you know United Bricks. They do, I think they're based in Glasgow, and they do historical figs or war figs. They have just sponsored me to do Saving Private Ryan 1, which is a great movie and really quite a straightforward build, I think. So I'm just going to do the initial, the Saving Private Ryan one will be the initial beach landing. So I'll be doing, sorry, I'm off shot here. So I'll be doing the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. So that's a sponsored one, but again, it's costly because although they are very kindly sending me the figs, which is generally where which will be the sponsorship, I still have to pay a source and build the model and all the parts. But yeah, that'll be one coming up. But I have been very prolific with them, and it probably needs to sort of slow down a bit. Just nothing else other than it's just really expensive, and I'm building them late at night, and I probably should be asleep. Yeah, I think you're supposed to have 5 hours, right? Yeah, it's completely ridiculous. You are correct. You could have just said you're a buffoon. It is ridiculous, and it's expensive. But what I will do is I use a lot of the sponsorship and a lot of the affiliate work to fund the next build, and I do enjoy building. I find it relaxing. I find it mindful, and like even here, obviously I'm on video. I'm trying to manage this so it doesn't fail me, but it's nice to build with people. Well, to have people you can talk to as you build, but it's still mindful. I don't feel the pressure of it. I'm still present in doing what I'm doing when my kids aren't banging doors downstairs. All right, so I think we're getting onto a little bit of detail here. Yeah, Hot Fuzz. It is a brilliant film. Oh, that's nice. Some great lines in that film. I love the, and as soon as I say that, it just like runs from my mind. But the when they're in the small village, as well as particularly, there's some great lines in there. Hot Fuzz is an amazing film. Amazing. I'll get there with it. It's just going to take a bit of time. So we're using for this, we're making the trough. We're using the bottom of a chest for this piece. And I'm guessing we're going to use some of that. We're going to clip it in place with these for the greater good. Yeah, 1 MOC a year. And I think this is more to do with the process, because I'm not trying to, I will be with Cowboys vs Aliens, but I'm not trying to set any record or do anything particularly amazing. When I build them, I'm kind of just trying to do something that I like, that when I look at it, I'll remember, I'll have nostalgia. I love the nostalgia of movies, you know, remembering when I watched it with, you know, with my brothers, with my dad when we were younger, you know, and I just enjoy that element of it, the memories associated with film. That trough isn't particularly anything astounding, but it goes in the back there. So the process that I use when I'm building them is just what you're seeing here. I'll find models, or I'll find, I'll tell you what I use, and I'll probably get burned for this, but AI. If I'm struggling with an idea, I say this, hot fuzz is just not being resolved by this, but if I'm struggling with an idea, I'll generally go on and find source material, find pictures, and then play around with the design in one of the AI programs to see if I can develop something that I like, or that is what I want it to be, you know. I don't do that with all of them because some of them are just pretty straightforward, but the ones where I have trouble and I just can't think. But my job, all of these kind of things just mean that I just love to be doing stuff like this, and I forget everything else that's going on. It is just really relaxing, like escaping, I guess is a good word as well. So you see they're adding some brown. So where they've added brown there, I'm definitely adding a ton of, I'm going to add a ton of that into this to try and add the age in. You see where they've added the tan in elements here, it just ages it slightly, makes it not perfect, which I quite like. You know what? It's a real problem. So when I do the well, it happened with Bricktastic as well, but generally whenever I do the events, people will ask to buy the models. I think I sold the Sherlock. I don't know if anyone saw that, but I did the BBC Sherlock house, and I ended up selling that because it didn't get through Lego Ideas, and I ended up selling that for a good amount. But I don't sell them. I am a hoarder, which is part of the reason I can't afford to buy. I can't afford to buy sets, because if I had both sets and the MOCs all together, I'd have to move out and just pay the Lego to live here. I don't have a Lego room yet, although I'm hoping I can get something set up, like a little garden shed or space, which takes me to Shaun of the Dead when they're sitting in the shed at the end. I imagine it'll be that kind of a look. But yeah, I keep them, which is a problem because they're not on display, because I have nowhere to display them. They are in boxes. None of them are standard shapes. They're all different shapes. Storage is a real problem. Which is another reason why I think a MOC a week is actually going to have to stop. Yeah, it does. He has got a nice looking shed. It would be good to get something like that. It's all money though, right? So I have to, the amount of money I spend on this hobby as it is, I mean, I don't drink or smoke or anything, but I spend a lot of money on this hobby, and I think I don't drink or smoke or go out every night is wearing thin. So one of the things I love about this model, in at least the pictures, is the window that goes here. So I'm hoping we can get to that. But yeah, you are correct. One MOC a week is absurd. But every time I put one out on social media, I always say, tune in next week for the next MOC. And then I think, what am I going to do? Yes, oh, Lord. It was a problem. I had to, this tells you that things aren't good. So I feel almost embarrassed to say this. So we were, I needed to buy a new car because the old car was out of shape anyway. My whole criteria, my whole decision making, everything for this new car was around whether it could transport the Lego to Bricktastic. So I ended up buying a very nice car. Well, I didn't buy it, I didn't pay outright, but getting a nice car and filling it to the roof with everything. It was very challenging, but made it, and thankfully everything made it intact. I did a display in Maryland in the US, and I only took 20 MOCs in 2 cases, and I packed them with cling film because I'd heard that was the best way to do it, and I put them in soft shell bags. And when I got to the US, I got there Friday night for to set up, and I opened the bag and every single MOC was smashed to pieces. And I had no instructions because I don't build with instructions. I just sit and dump my hands in boxes and pull it to pretty much like this. This is how I develop the MOCs. So I had work colleagues that were there trying to help me assemble this. It was a very hot room and I was very hot. It was not a good experience. But Bricktastic was much better. I think someone has built a shed. I've seen, I want to say it's Brick Science on YouTube. I'm pretty sure he built a whole bedroom out of Lego. And I'm pretty sure in the UK, I want to say James May built a whole house out of Lego, but I might be wrong. I'd build a shed out of Lego. The thing that I worry about a shed, I don't know anything about Greg's shed apart from what I see when he's streaming, but I just worry about damp and stuff like that affecting the Lego. Did build a Lego house, and why does saying that make me want to sing a song? I won't, because I really appreciate you being here, and I don't feel like it's fair for me to torture you. But I'm sure there's a song about that. Building a Lego house. There you go. Oh, it is Ed Sheeran. Yeah. See, if you go, again, it's embarrassing because really it was a foolish thing that I did. But if you go back over the over YouTube, over YouTube, over my Instagram, you can see the disaster. It looked like I was traveling into the US with a ton of cocaine. I'm surprised that it didn't get all pulled to pieces, but I'm guessing the X-ray machines did what they were supposed to do. But I wrapped it in cling film, I wrapped it in bubble wrap, and then I stupidly put it in a soft shell bag. So I had all the pieces were together. Just they were all smashed, and I had an hour to get them all ready before I had to leave the hall, which is rough. All right, this is a thing that happens generally quite a lot as well. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this or done these builds, but you get a page where it will tell you, I'll show this, it'll tell you your brick that you need. So that's a plate. And then you look at the picture and you just can't tell where that was supposed to go. So you just have to hope for the best and continue to move through. Or move to the next instruction and work out that they go here. So critical. So these are the bits, these are the delight bits for me on the model, when you start to add in elements that start to build the structure, because you're sort of looking at all these loose pieces. And then these bits are what I always love about Lego. I don't know whether it's about control or what, but when they start all coming together. And I can see that I've made a mistake there as well. I'll fix that in a minute. Yeah, it was rough. It was pretty rough. Also, as well, like I'm not the most sort of confident in that space, you know, when it comes to Lego and displaying. So I was at an event in a different country, sort of in at the deep end. Luckily, again, like I said, I did have friends there with me to support me, but it was still rough. Trying to get all that together. There was one of the lugs that were displaying with that event at the time was, I want to say it was a Virginia lug, and the guys there were brilliant. Couldn't do enough. Really nice. So I was grateful to be. I feel like I'm saying I'm grateful for all these people constantly, but they were really nice and really helpful. And for me, sort of nervously ending up in Annapolis in Maryland, trying to display my smashed Lego, it was nice to have people there that were supportive. You probably are right. I feel like I should at least just present it as we're doing a I don't know, some sort of charity thing. I'm sure we can make some money out of it, an auction or something. But I do feel like it's something's got to give. Either I've got to get a Lego space. I started selling all my old sets because I don't have room. So all my Star Wars, all my collection of Star Wars, I've started selling on eBay. Just trying to get rid of as much as I can, so I've got room for the MOCs, because I'm more invested in them, I think, than I am the sets. So if anyone's looking for anything, want a bargain. To be fair, it's all gone now. So we're working around the back, just on this structure. Well, I'm glad someone else is going to be in Reading then, someone that I know. Give me a... that'll be nice. Are you displaying a new model, Gaz, if you're still there? I didn't even see if you... Or the ones that you were displaying at Bricktastic, which you didn't get a lot of time with. Yeah, it's a part of that. There's something... I do reverse bag my sets. I find reverse bagging sets is as relaxing as sorting. I find it very mindful, very relaxing, and I enjoy it. I do enjoy doing it. So I do pack a lot away as well, but it's not enough to make room. Yeah, I saw you started prepping. I think in the first London call-in, after it had happened, you said you were prepping and got some commentary around that. But at the same time, I was thinking, well, I definitely am as well. I feel like it's so easy to run out of time, you know. It's very easy to run out of time. it'll be nice to actually see some of the models that were at Bricktastic that I just didn't get to see. I did stop by yours, but it was I'd only been able to see stuff once the halls had closed and they were all switching the lights off and everyone was disappearing. So I didn't get long to actually spend looking at models or talking to anyone about them. So it'd be good to see you and get to do that. Because half the fun is talking to the builder and like seeing why they've done why they've taken a particular route, what they love about their model, what their favorite parts, what their worst parts were to build. It's super interesting. Yeah, it's too much. It's yeah. The thing that was happening was when I kind of had in mind that I was doing Bricktastic, I'd registered. So all of these weekly models for me were just really prep for that as well. So that's kind of how I justified it to myself. I was like, well, I'm prepping for an event that I've got to display at. But in the end, I did have to leave a lot of models, and I chose the motorized ones mainly. I've got an Inception one, which is the turn-in hall. I saw it at Chicago on display, and it was the rotating hallway scene where the fight happens, and it was amazing. So I just wanted to build that. So I had a version of it, but I decided it was potentially going to be too much work to keep having to switch it on and off, and sometimes the motor conks out and it starts causing damage. I think being over ambitious like that is probably, it's not the worst place to start, because you can always kind of dial back, I guess. I am imagining that yours is going to be Doctor Who themed. You might not want to talk about it as a big reveal. Oh no. This is I would not. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. I suppose with the motors, with using motors and mechanisms, as long as you are really strict and really detail orientated in the way you assemble all of that, it probably won't be a problem. You're not going to have like constant issues with things breaking down or this happens with a lot of these models as well, where you end up having to navigate into this really small space when I could have added this earlier and then put the roof elements on. Like it's like working on creating, I don't know what that's called. It's like the upper hay drop thing. That's what all us farmers call it. Motors are going to be challenging for sure. You need to get to Go Bricks. Go Bricks are the company that do the moving mechanisms, right? So you could the most infamous one I always, or infamous, the most sort of one I always see on Instagram is with the Harry Potter boats going around in like the Harry Potter scene. It looks amazing, and the boats are like lit up. Is that where that company is the one that you're talking about? Yeah, so one thing I'd say about that is do you do, I don't know if you do any, because I just haven't seen whether you do sort of affiliate stuff, but I did some stuff with them and it never ended up progressing. But I have got one of their entire massive kits that I just don't have any use for, and I'm trying to work out what to do with it. So message me before you buy anything from them, Gaz. Message me, just remind me on Instagram. Just send me a message there because I'll forget. Send me a message there. Just say Go Bricks or something, and I'll because it might be easier for you just to take what I've got. And then all I'll probably ask for in return is just some video content that I can then use as part of the return for them. If you're interested, message me. All right. Yeah, no, message me and definitely do it before. That's a good point, actually. How are you getting to? I don't know where you live. I'm not saying tell me where you live, but if you are going to Reading, will you have transport? Because this whole set thing that I've got is just gigantic, and if you had transport, it's potentially I could bring it there and we could do an exchange there. So we are progressing, working on, I guess this is the hay up the top here. It's a bit, when I was prepping the bags for this, I was thinking it was going to be a lot quicker in terms of build. But sometimes these things take time. But yeah, you'd be doing me a massive favor around that Go Bricks thing as well, because one, room. I don't have room for that stuff. Two, it would be really helpful if you're using it to make something awesome. So if we could grab some of that content as well. Even if it's just in like development stuff, like, oh look, I made this Dalek move around here and kill people. Oh great, okay. Well, we'll speak, but I'll definitely bring it. Well, let me fit the Western town in first, and then I'll bring, which I'm sure will be very easy. See, you never know what's going to happen. I do like to try and pay things forward. I feel like I've got a lot of support from people that, you know, I wouldn't have, I've been surprised by, and I'd love to be able to try and support people as well, you know, because Lego is expensive. Right. We are now doing the bit I've been waiting for, although I feel like the doors were probably going to end up being the best part of the build quality. But let's have a look at doing this one. It'll really make a nice Lego sound then. Yeah, I love these. Love this. Always something really satisfying about the way these bits come together. I think it's just because when I saw this model, the first part that caught my attention was the design of these doors, just because of detail. And details, you know, details matter. So let me grab parts on the floor here because I had to put a last minute order in that ended up costing me, I think I needed some extra bits, but they ended up costing a fortune because I needed to buy them from the person who was going to ship in like under 24 hours. But it's worth it. Although, as I do that, I'm realizing I got the wrong piece. But it all adds to the look. There you go. Another, well, I'm looking for the hinge. I'll just put that on. Another door. So this is the top door. So this one, smashing bits off, goes up here and then becomes the actual door mechanism. Is I put it on the wrong side. I don't want this to crunch. I know it'll go in there, but I really don't want it to crunch. So let's lower it like that and then attach it. There we go. So there you go. So we're getting there. The inside isn't bad looking. I mean, it'd probably look better if I had a cow and a pig in there, but we're getting there. Right, bag 4. There you go. So all in all, I want to say for this whole diorama set for the pieces, it was about 60, thereabouts. And with, what is that, 1,000, how many pieces? 1,727 pieces. Let me just check again, make sure that that was what I spent on it. So on Rebrickable, the inventory has it at 248. One of the, like I said, one of the things that I generally find that's not really accurate anyway. When you go through to the actual Bricklink store, it always ends up being a lot cheaper. But also the removal of the cow. And I think this one had a lot of the MOCs that I look to build on Rebrickable are usually dioramas. So they'll have wording on the front and they use the keys from the typewriter. And those keys are extremely expensive. So it ends up costing a bit just for that kind of stuff. So I end up removing a lot of that as well, just to try and keep things cheaper. So we're framing it off. We'll move to the roof. Just trying to move a bit faster. Does anyone do those? Do you? Because I've not seen you at them, but I don't. I'm mainly in the south, so I'm not necessarily up in the north. But do you do a lot of the commercial events, or do you do them at all? I think I spoke about this the other day. I quite I don't mind doing them. They're actually it's nice. Well, the main reason I do them is so I can get the voucher payments, the Lego voucher payments, to be fair. to support everything, to support the hobby. But they're all slightly different. There's one coming up. There's a lot coming up there every weekend, pretty much. Sometimes on Saturday and the Sunday. But there's one. I want to say they were called Brick Universe. Maybe they're not, but a newish one. And they're doing one in Dover, I think, in June. And I think I'll probably be at that one. Work allowing. So we're kind of working on this top area now. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what you could get all funny about them being commercial events. You know, a lot of it is driven towards the fact that you can buy, you know, retired sets or even sets in the shop, and they are fairly expensive. I don't necessarily think I would buy stuff there for a deal, but I don't think it's aimed at me. But the voucher rewards are really beneficial. I think I did, and obviously bear in mind, I did a Brick Festival one, and I've obviously got 50 MOCs. So I'm using 6 tables. So doing that event, taking up 6 tables, 9 to 5 in London, so half an hour from where I am. I got 200 quid's worth of vouchers for that. I got to spend a day talking with people about my builds and stuff like that. So I think there's a value in it. I personally wouldn't go to buy, unless you were like, well, I'm buying that set, I might as well just buy it here. Then that's a different thing. But if you were looking for a deal on a set, I don't necessarily know I'd go there. It's kind of a bit of a trapped audience there. But again, they're useful to get to meet people, and they're a bit lower requirement of energy in terms of the social stuff. Sometimes it can get slightly exhausting. Well, definitely for me, being at those events can be, shouldn't have put that there, jumped ahead, made an assumption. They can be a lot of work, being on, you know, being on and interacting with people for sort of extended periods. But the commercial ones are much shorter of a day, so a bit easier. We're slowly building up the front. I have to get a wired connection. I keep having to tell my kids not to be on the Wi-Fi. Ooh. These are generally the bits where I have I get the most joy, because it starts to look like it's coming together. You get excited. I think one, I don't know if this is controversial, but I think this dark red color is possibly one of my favorite Lego colors. It's just something about it that I just really like, the color. But there's just something in it. Whenever I see it in models, it's always really impactful. All right. To be fair, these instructions are really good, from Ploopis, and it's MOC 151980 on on Rebrickable. So really nice build so far. Really nice. And it's got the height that I started to get worried that it might not have, which I need, because it's going to really be the centerpiece of the MOC. So we've built the top there, and we're moving now to the back to start reinforcing the back, reinforcing the back side. So this is open back, which is not necessarily my preference, but for the purpose of essentially what will be a diorama sort of scene, it's not an issue. It'll make it easier for me to light, which I don't always do, but with this model, because of the atmosphere in the movies, I think orange flickering glow would look quite good. So I'll add that. Another one of my favorite colors, sand green. Someone's going to say, that's not sand green. And then I'll realize I'm colorblind. Oh, nice. I didn't see was that your lunchtime build today? Did you do a lunchtime build today? I normally look for it, but I ended up getting consumed by work, so I didn't. Nice. Have you got it on the Instagram? I'll have a look in a minute. See if we can. Yeah. All right. Good. Well, I'm glad you got to do a build. I just checked your Instagram to see which one it was. Was it a nice build? Chill. I love little builds like that as well. I think I prefer working smaller as well. I prefer working with smaller sort of models. When I first started getting into doing the movie MOCs, I started with the Die Hard one. I don't know if you saw that at Bricktastic, but that that thing is massive, a bit unwieldy to move around. I think when I do start selling them, which will be inevitable, that'll probably be the first one to go. So we're building up the back here so we can put the roof on. I saw, was it a GWP? the taco stand. It's working on. We got to put a little light on now. It is a GWP. Yeah. I'm refusing to see what you're writing, Martin, because I am not going to spend any more money on Lego sets. I was thinking it was going on the front. This is a little light for the back, which goes in that connector, which actually is a nice way to attach a light, I think. Is it a bit of, I don't know, it's quite sturdy. Okay, we're still on the back. Still on the back side. I'm not even reading the instructions anymore, I'm guessing. Ah, the restaurants of the world, yeah, okay. Really, my so after so long getting back into Lego, it's my knowledge of, because I had a big gap from, you know, when I was a kid to sort of starting back up again, and the PlayStation modular got me started back up again, but my sort of in-depth Lego knowledge about parts and pieces and stuff is not as good as I would like it to be. So it makes having, okay, so that's nice because you start to frozen, start to get it sturdy now, and the structure immediately is solid now, so it's much giving me a bit more confidence than what it was before. So I think we're moving on soon. These are delight parts because I love closing the studs off, which is what we're doing here with these slope. What have I done wrong? Nothing. Just struggling to see color. Yeah, I see so many models and I'm like, oh, I could definitely adapt that one all the time. It's like this, it's the story of my life. And I think I wish I could see, I really need to get more engaged with that because I don't generally buy produced sets. I don't really pay a lot of attention to when things are happening, but I really should, because there's a lot of opportunity to be using like sets that Lego are producing, buying them at a reasonable price and then mocking them from there. The sushi restaurant is definitely something that's movie mockable. The sushi GWP and the restaurant, the Bricklink. Was it a sushi Bricklink designer, the last one? The one that Jules bought double of. My eyes would be in me there. So we're just adding a roof here, cleaning up the roof. I was going to show the minifigs for this, but I'll hold off for now. So we're starting to build what I think are elements of the roof here. The clue was that they're going on the roof. add in this, this, and this. Same on the other side. Yeah, I think that's that was a. I think I saw you say that in. I can't. It might have been in London Calling, but I saw you mention that being a good reason for going, and I think it definitely makes total sense to me. You didn't. If you were in a position where you didn't get to see half of the stuff that was going on, there's a good chance that you'll get to see some of it there. But I'm glad that Gaz will be at Reading because I'll get to see his thing there. But I although I saw it, it was very brief. Yeah, I definitely did, and I felt bad afterwards. I wasn't, but because we weren't in the main hall either, it was wasn't like you could casually look at stuff. Kind of had very short amount of time to kind of run around and try and see everything. And like I say, it was always at close, and it was always like dark, and nobody was there to talk to. And it's an easy conversation starter when people are there actually at their models, you know. But yeah, you're right. It was very easy not to see half the stuff. That goes there, which is unusual. Okay, so that is that bag. So the next bag is the roof, and I think that'll bring us to a that'll end up bringing it to a close, and then I'll finish the rest at some other point. So we are on bag 5. Let's just put that there for a second. My bag structure and decisions was slightly foolish. Yeah, it was challenging for sure. See, that's problem with it as well. Like I saw people, I did see stuff, but because again it was real limited times, I didn't get really to see the people, so I didn't really know whose displays were what, who was displaying what, who was doing what. Oh, yeah, I complain. It was great, but just a bit disappointing. I think next year I'll just hopefully I'll be able to abandon the display a bit more, because it will probably be less questions about things. Yeah. By the time that the day was done, I was starving. That's a slight issue. Deal with that later. Okay, so we're starting, I think, here to put the structure in for the roof. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Because you were, Martin, because you were on the soapbox thing, I didn't see it because I only saw it at close, but I imagine it was busy with people constantly smashing the carts and stuff. Yeah, I didn't either. I've still got mine. I wonder if I can use them next year. I doubt it. Okay, there we go on there. See, I love that kind of opportunity as well. If this roof is going to be able to be opened to look inside, I mean, I don't necessarily need it for that, but if you wanted that, it would be a nice thing to have. And the effort of the designer putting in a roof that opens is appreciated. Yeah. You know what? The only thing that I actually did get to do was run mine down the hill, but I did it before it. I think I did it on the. Did I do it on the Friday? I think I did it on the Friday. Right, so let's attach the roof. I'm immediately. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. The problem with the soapbox was you weren't even just there. You were constantly having to rebuild, I imagine, which is just a nightmare. I mean, it's good because it's a great thing, but it's a lot of work. Ooh, that's no good. No, wait a minute. I have to move that slightly so I can get pressure on. And then pressure on. See, some of these models, the way you're assembling the pieces can be tricky. Like there was definitely a much better way to have assembled this part. Can't even get it in. And this is actually something that I normally like, but again, another thing that potentially could have been done before I actually put the roof on. Is the detail. I love the detail. I just would rather not be trying to attach it in a sort of weird, vulnerable way here. Yeah, I can. I definitely would have done that after a while. Like the same ones. No. This is now display only. And then some roofing. Yeah, it's I'm guessing that will be an every year thing for you now, Martin, the soapbox. It's obviously super popular, so I can't imagine you wouldn't. Okay. I do like a roof. I've just done nothing but complain about it, but I like the effort taken to create the right shape. I just wish that all the design features that I'm now adding, I could have done before I stuck it on. All the tiling on the roof. Although, to be fair, there isn't much. But I do like the model. There we go. Going the wrong way. Okay, so we're up top again. This time. You're fine. Thank you, Nicole, for coming by and supporting. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. See you on your stream or Martin's on Monday or wherever. Good night. Definitely will be going to bed soon. Not here on camera. I'll like, we'll finish up, but actually I've got work. I love a good roof. This is a good roof. I can tell it's going to be sturdy and have the option to be opened, which is always nice. You've got to wait for the 4 costume on your stream on the 16th. I asked Nicole what she'd prefer for her stream, me in my Thor costume or Batman style MOCs. She didn't want to choose. She said she doesn't have to choose. Yeah, this is a colouring issue for my eyesight because I've selected and bagged 2 what I think are sand blue. You probably will be able to interpret this better than me when I actually need dark bluish grey, I think. Yeah, got him. As the roof comes together. I love getting rid of those studs, especially on the peak, the top. Gives yeah, I think they were. My and I've just stuck one on there anyway. Wow, someone needs to go to the opticians for sure. We'll leave that off for now, although I don't think the opticians will be able to solve color blindness. Wow, trying to find 1x2. There we go. Okay. We have now move it into this other part. Once we've done this bag, we'll wrap. We're nearly there. I didn't, you know what? I didn't think so until now. And now I'm thinking, I don't think I am. I think my eyes are just tired. I've been looking at computer screens all day. But I wasn't looking at a computer screen when I put these bags together. So who knows? So this is the way the roof opens up, and then that part tucks down under there and goes nicely under there. Love that. Small things. Yeah, I didn't think I was. I don't think I am. That would be problematic. But also, in some ways, I suspect just my luck. Okay, it actually isn't one of... I do need to do that. That one right there, is that causing you anxiety, Martin? Remind me of it when I'm sitting here in like 10 minutes time and go, I'm done. You go, you got to replace that that last one. I will replace it. I'm just trying to save my back. Then we have, I quite like the way this just goes under there like that. Nice. It would be a horror film. It will be replaced for you. It would be your kind of horror film. But you are right. Again, I ignored the instructions, followed my own path at the beginning, and very quickly found out that that was a mistake and had to undo it all. So as much as I mock you for your attention to detail, and you were clearly in the right, and I am not. Wow, that is not, that number is quite shocking. I didn't realize it was like that. And I suppose actually, I was in this conversation the other day with you, I feel, like when we were doing the Brickwink thing, the build. And we were talking about it. And I think it was you that said some people just don't even know that they're sort of suffering with it. Suffering? I don't know if that's the right word. I feel like it is. I would be suffering with it. I guess you adapt, right? Most men don't talk about their problems anyway, a lot of the time. Oh. Every time I push one of these tiles on this roof, I'm waiting for it just to collapse in. This is what I mean sometimes about some of these builds. I definitely do prefer, I'd rather put them on without them being actually on the roof. It's a nice roof, especially that gap there, Martin. It's a nice roof. Yeah. That's a good idea. God, what would you do? Because actually, when you think about it, with that number, with those like 1 in 8, there will be a lot of people that that build. I've got to do the other side. That are into Lego, that suffer with it more than I would have thought there would have been before you telling me that figure, which is pretty rough. Yeah, what could you do in terms of advocacy? In terms of, I know what you could do in terms of advocacy. I mean, in terms of a MOC. I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I would think there'd be a lot you could do actually around designs for that. I mean, I guess the thing would be to do it in a way that wasn't sort of feeding into stereotypes and stuff like that. Because my instinct initially would be, well, you could do like a black and white, like a build that visually represents something that would normally be full of color, but make it black and white. But again, that's not really a reflection of what they what the experience, right? I don't know. That would be good. That would be good. It's not like colorblind people walk around only seeing in black and white. But I think that's just because I've been obsessed with black and white. I really want to do a series of black and white films as MOCs and see what I can do with that. I've seen a lot of them. People have done it before, but it's not anything new. But interesting. Yeah, would be good. So I'm now, yes, that would be good. That's a great film. That's with, can I not remember the names? Is it the guy that played, feels weird saying played. The guy who was Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, or have I just made that up completely? Well, it's coming together as promised by the pictures. Nearly there on the roof. It's a quicker experience this time because I've realised where I was going wrong. Yeah, one of the issues I had with, I think the commercial, but I think it would also apply to shows that are the non-commercial shows, is that if I was to do something that was advocating for a group, I would want to be able to get support of the group and to raise money for the group. And I've always found that to be a bit of a sticking point. I tried to do some stuff for children, a children's charity. Okay, yeah, a children's charity anyway, but the event organizers stopped it, and it wasn't anything major. It was just I invited kids to find mini scorpions in the western town, and once they found, or they gave a count on the scorpions, they could go online and their parents could like vote, put in their number of finds or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. So it's put in the number they found, and then they'd get entered into a draw and they'd win minifigs and stuff. It was nothing really. And then the parents could donate if they wanted to. And I ran it a couple and people did donate, but eventually it just got a bit awkward with the organisers not wanting other charities sort of represented there. Yeah, it is. I thought so. That's actually a good movie. I haven't. It's another one that I haven't watched enough, and I watch and watch and watch movies. It'd be a very unusual scenario, even if I didn't like the film, for me to have only watched it once. I'll generally watch them at least 4 or 5 times. All right, so that's I do like the way the roofs open up. It's probably better to show here, but the way you can get inside like that. They sort of dip underneath. Also gives me ideas for other designs. All right, let's add some color to it. Yeah, I like it. They don't. It's unusual I find that in some of the Rebrickable ones, little things like that. It's normally a sort of a focused thing for like the Lego side, the official products, but and even then it's sparing. But this one has got that, and I quite like it. They didn't have to do it. They could have just made a rigid roof. It's just a bit of going above and beyond. We just tile in this section, and then we'll be done on the externals. I'm going to stop following the instructions now. Just do what I think is effective. I nearly put that one out of sync. This is why I really can't go near sets, because I do just start making stuff up. Oh, good placement. Mads will be going crazy. Yep, I am not following the rules. I'm breaking them. You know what? I'll probably instantly regret it when I get to a piece where I'm required to use a particular placement of one of these to direct my next action. Okay. I am actually following the instructions now. Don't get too. All right, next part is this main body. And then we are done with the building pretty much in its current form. And we'll finish up the around edges, either off stream or another day. Oh, gone wrong. I've gone wrong, Martin. Sitting here with my sand blue cheese wedges. Okay, I think that covers that. And they want another one of these bushes. One here. And yeah. Ooh. Disappeared. Luckily we had a spare. There. Oh. And then there. And there. Which I definitely don't like the placement of that. Let's take that out. Then we're round to the front again. And this is cleaning up those edges. The trim, which is important. And then we got a leaf to add around this. One of the things I like to use, especially on the urban one, is like decals. I get them from Germany, and they make really nice vandalism for a lot of the city scenes that I'll build, and they are the only sticker I'll use. But I do use them liberally as well. All right, I missed this bit at the front, so we're doing some one here. We're doing one here, one here, one here, 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 and here. Try and give some, should be no open studs. Cool. All right, well, there is the, let's try and get it here. Not really doing it any favors. Let's get it up here. So there we have the design. I really like it. It's the perfect size for what I need. So I'll before I do the next one, I'll break it down a bit, make it a bit more rustic. Damn it. 1 second. I'm never ever going to live it down unless I put that on there. All right, wait. So my eyesight is preventing this from being an effective use of time. I did tell you to remind me. I just can't find it in my loose pile. I think maybe sand blue would look really nice there. I'll make myself laugh. Martin, you're just going to have to go with a different color. I'm going to go, where is it? I don't even, oh, it's right there. So like, let's get this up. So if I were to put this blue one in, just in there like that, that would make you feel better. Blue one. You know what? I think, you know, okay. So just put the blue one in and you're all good and it'll make you feel better. Well, I think we'll just leave it for now. But I mean, it again, it could potentially just be like, just pushed in there. But I don't think it doesn't work for me really. I think I really need, I could put like a leaf there. I think we're good. I think we'll leave it as it is for now. Since you've been so kind and generous, I'll add the blue for you. So there we are. All done in terms of the main shed. So this will be the main body of the build. The designer has obviously created this open back as well, which is nice. I don't mind. I don't really need the back to be seen. But what I'll do is I'll be using browns, dark browns. I'll also use some slopes to create holes and spaces in this. And then, yeah, we'll add a cornfield next to it and start to expand out slightly from there. But that piece we'll have to fix. But that's that for now. So we're in a place where we've got the structure. So when it's actually built, what it'll look like, although this may change, I do change these a lot, is we'll have a body of ground here and we'll lift up from there with the corn. So we'll have, I think I've got, I want to say 1,000 corn parts that I can put in here at different levels. And then we'll have the kids here, we'll have a scarecrow, all parts of that. So that's generally the look that we'll get to. So we'll probably do a next part, which will be a lot shorter, where I add those bits in and add the minifigs in, and then it can be one of the MOCs. Keep an eye out this week for, on Friday and potential, or tomorrow, I'll potentially be doing Saving Private Ryan for tomorrow if I get the figures in time. If not, it will be Leon or The Professional, whichever you want to call it. But it'll be the final scene in Leon where he is, where Leon is shot in the back of the head by Gary Oldman in the hallway. Yeah, that is that. Thank you guys for coming by. Yeah, it actually was for me as well. I wasn't expecting it to be that big. It's got some heft on it. But one of the things that I like, again, like I said, is it's solid. And when I see builds like this and they've got brick built doors, when they've got sort of articulated roofs, I always worry about stability and it holding up. But this is solid, really nice design, I think, that he's done, and it really fits what I need once I break it down. But yeah, that's that. Thanks guys for coming by. I appreciate you, and I'm really grateful for you showing up and watching this. But other than that, I'll say good night, and I'll post about next time and whether I'm going to carry on and do some more around it. But that is it for now, and I'll see you next time. I was about to shout something about Lego being amazing, but I'm trying to steal Greg's line. I should have come on with a fan and then shouted that at the end, and it would have been brilliant. Copying is the best form of strategy. It's like, Lego, yeah. Don't clip that and then show him. There you go. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks very much. And I appreciate you, and have a good night. And I'll look out for your streams, and I will be watching you, with you, streaming when you're streaming. Take it easy and good night. Cheers, guys.